The first 3 days after the spill, people were coming to work unshowered.
It was panic at the loss of tax revenues.
What the chemical spill taught us is that water is extremely valuable, and we just often take it for granted.
It was clear almost immediately that no one was prepared for something like that to happen. Of course, we found out later, as time went on, in the coming days and weeks, what regulations did or didn't exist, what types of enforcement of the existing regulations were even being enforced. So I think that it became pretty clear pretty quickly that no one in Kanawha County or virtually anywhere in West Virginia was ready for something like that to happen.
When this happened, our newsroom became home for our staff. We didn't have water in our newsroom, so we were trucking in, bottled water where we could get it. We had people sleeping in their sleeping bags. People were working long shifts and staying up 24, 36 hours, 48 hours at a time to cover it. And we did that for a long time because this was really important, and we understood that this was important, not just to us, but more importantly to the community as well.
There were factors that just kind of lined up to help foster this, from the weather to the stress on the water system itself, that helped create an environment where this contaminant could come out and get into the system and then totally shut everything down. I'm glad that it wasn't in the summer. I'm sure that the stink factor would have been exponentially worse than that, but as far as being completely preventable, could it have been? Yes, absolutely. Did the people across the board who had access to the tools and the systems designed to prevent it act? No, I don't think they did.
I think from an economic standpoint, there were so many people that couldn't go out and afford to go get a hotel room, couldn't afford to go drive 30, 40, 50 miles to another place to take a shower, to do their laundry, to do the necessities with water. That I think that because of that situation, people just had to go ahead and use it. I was actually at work back in the office whenever that all clear happened. My roommate at the time flushed the pipes, and I remember coming home and getting ready to take the first shower, and that smell was everywhere. So they told us that it would be there, but I think that everyone, at least myself, was a little reluctant. It was a matter of necessity, though. It had been days, and it's not like I could jump in the car and just drive away out of town to go find some water to use.
I distinctly remember when the do not use bans were lifted, people were able to flush their pipes, and we were explaining to people, this is the process that we've been told, this is the multi-step process you go through to flush out your pipes. But there were all these residual questions. Will any of the MCHM stay in my pipes? Will it cling to the metal? And what about my hot water heater? And no matter how many times we would explain the process as it had been explained to us, viewers weren't believing what they were hearing and what they were seeing, because there had been that confusion in the beginning, and because there had been some mixed messaging early on and then throughout the rest of the process. And when that trust is broken, it's very difficult to regain that. And that was the biggest problem I think we faced, not only during the crisis, but months and months and months after.
It's Charleston, West Virginia, right? What does someone in New York City care about what happens in Charleston? Maybe not much. But if something like this would have happened in New York City, the entire world would have been paying attention to it. And they would have been hungry for every detail.
We don't know as much about our waterways as we probably should.